Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. I'm on day 13 of my self-quarantine. I am asymptomatic and I have absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. We're quarantining ourselves just like every other American should be doing, right? But I'm more at risk of getting it because my wife works for the airlines and my son goes to school in Washington, Seattle. Just wanted to show you where I am today. It is around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday. I believe it's Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. And absolutely nothing's going on. As you can see, it's like a ghost town on my street. So this was last night around 9 p.m., see, and I ran out with my dog Boba. I wanted to walk him before we went down for the night, you know? And so I go to my, well, Boba leads me to my next door neighbor, not next door, across the street's neighbor's house, right? And as he's pulling me away now, at the corner of my eye on the left-hand side, I see, get ready for this, the wife of the guy that lives there, right? He's a Suffolk County police officer. I haven't seen him in a while. And a guy in full hazmat suit, you know, the booties, the gloves, face shield, double mask, the gown, everything, right? He's administering to her a COVID-19 test, like upper nose, you know? And as I'm walking away, I could hear her coughing violently, you know, because the COVID-19 test, it's a long swab, man. I mean, like that long, right? And you shove it up your nose all the way to the back, you know, to get, I guess, the mucus all the way in the back. And that causes you to cough violently, you know? And so she leads me over to my next door neighbor's house, whose mother lives adjacent to the street, and she was coming out of a garage, and she had just drove by the street, you know, and I said, hey, did you just see what I saw? She goes, yes. So it's like, don't think that it's not around you. I live in the suburbs, man, you know, it's very quiet here, you know, it's not like New York City. I know you guys are watching the news and you're hearing that New York has got like 50% more than what the entire nation has, which is true because look, New York City has like 10 million people in this tiny little island, you know what I mean? So it's everybody's packed in there, you know, and so you're gonna have a spread that way. Here in the suburbs, you know, you don't see anybody except your neighbors, you know what I mean? So there's more chance of you getting it in the city, and well, it's just, don't think you're not going to get it. Don't think that you're Superman and you're just not going to get it, you know what I mean? As you guys can see, it's day 13 of my quarantine, and I feel fine, you know what I mean? And the only reason why I'm even keeping count of how many days is because my son is from, you know, the University of Washington, so, and that was like the epicenter at the time. But now New York is like the epicenter, you know? Actually, now if you look at worldwide, Italy is the epicenter. Man, they're losing like 600-700 people a day. Crazy, right? So then there's this theory that this is all planned to control the world population. You know what I mean? Hey, you got to get rid of all the old people so that the strong are, you know, consuming the resources of the world. Crazy shit, man. Oh, actually, I was just texting with my friend Andy Gobby from the UK, Mower Wizards. He says, yeah, Pony. I see you're working on a new, on a Troy Bilt Pony. You know, in England, pony means shit. I thought that was really funny. So anyway, short monologue today, just telling you what the situation is, you know. As you guys know, I brought this out yesterday, and I was gonna get this started, you know. I parked the Craftsman back into the yard, that's ready to go, but, you know, I had a couple of guys text me yesterday, right, and say, hey, I see that you have two 21 horsepower lawn tractors. I need something with a lot of power, so I'm only looking at your 221 horsepower ones. That is the Craftsman 14 Episode 1, the opposed twin Briggs that I rebuilt, right? That's 21 horsepower. And also the other Troy Bilt Super Bronco Pony shit that I made, and that took like 9 or 10 episodes. That also has my rebuilt 17. No, that's the 21 horsepower Smoky engine. Remember that Nick from Medford gave me. So I thought to myself, am I in any position to be showing people tractors, you know, what if the guy coming infects my 13-day quarantine, right? I got to start all over again, you know what I mean? So I don't know whether or not that was worth it. So I told him, listen, with this virus stuff going on, right? How about I park both tractors on my front yard, right? I'll leave the keys in them. You look through it, start it up, drive it around my lawn, whatever you want to do. If you want it, leave the money in the mailbox. Text me if you have any questions, you know. I figured that might be kind of an interesting idea to do, you know. That way I don't have any risk of being near anybody and I sell a tractor. You know what I mean? And then the guy goes, I never really thought of it that way. Maybe you're right. I'm not really taking this coronavirus seriously enough. Let me forget about buying a tractor until this is over, you know? I says, yeah, it's probably a good idea. So, you know, I'm not in a, I have them, I'd like to get rid of them, but if it's gonna jeopardize something to make a couple $100, it's just not worth it, you know what I mean? No matter what, I have them. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, you know, unless I keel over and die tomorrow or something, but anyway. So, I have a very bad battery, okay? Terrible one. It's Pony. It's a Pony battery. It's shit. And it's not giving off a lot of amperes at all. I charged it overnight. We're going to see again, right? So it barely turns the flywheel. Even with the spark plug out, it hardly turns it at all, you know? The flywheel is free. I've used a ratchet, and it turns freely, you know, with the spark plug out, you know? And so I'm thinking it might be either the starter is, either the connection is loose and doesn't have a good connection, or the battery doesn't have enough amps to power up the starter to turn the flywheel fast enough for me to check for spark. The only way to get to that area and inspect the starter is I have to remove the two side panels from the front. Otherwise you have no access to it, you know, so that I'm going to have to do that. But first we're going to try to start it with the battery charged overnight. So our battery's been charged overnight. There's no spark plug in here. It should go fast. How's that sound go again, Henry? Here we go. It is faster, but it's not like, you know? Very weak battery. So even after the battery's been charging overnight, even after those few cranks that I just did, I'm gonna test the voltage. 12.7. That's not bad. It should start. Very weak, but yet the battery still shows. Oh. 12. So this battery's crap. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal the battery out of this one. I know this one's good. Okay, I just stole the battery from that Yard Machines. I just put it in. I'm going to put you right here so you can see. I'm going to sit on it, give it a try. See if it cranks faster. Yeah, much faster. I'm going to put the spark plug back in. Just put the spark plug in. Give her another try. Uh-huh. You know what's preventing the thing from turning is the mower deck belt. It's caught. Look at the mower deck belt. I just pulled the mower deck belt completely off the pulley. So the only thing that should be holding the flywheel, preventing the flywheel from turning, would be the drive, actually, the drive belt. Let's see. You know, I still think it might be the condition of the starter. Check the battery again. Condition of this battery, let's see. Oh, wow. Is that right? 10.2 volts? Does this battery suck too? Holy cow. So while that battery is charging up a little bit, I know where I can find another battery that I definitely don't need in the near future. We've got an EverStart battery, Walmart battery, in there. This battery is obviously very old as well, but who knows, right? No matter what, I could use this as a core. I got to take it out anyway. Might as well try charging it up and seeing if it has enough juice. There we go. And I don't want the battery tray. Ooh. Ooh, look what I found! Look what I found! Holy cow! Score! Back to the garage. Mailbag. Real quick. Don't know what it is, but it's addressed to mowers and blowers. So that'll be interesting. Hey? It's from Amazon. It's Rust-Oleum black, but it looks like it's matted black or flat black. Ah, semi-gloss black. I didn't order it. No receipt. So it's a mystery for me to see the world is ending, and I never will forget. Well, whoever sent it to me, thank you. I guess this would be good for decks, right? I'm sure somebody sent me this to spray the decks. I'm sure of it. But hey, follow me on Instagram at mowersblowers. DM me, personal message. Tell me who sent this to me. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, though. Regardless, clean up this battery just a little bit, especially the contacts, very rusty, possibly, and want to make the best possible connection. Now, if this battery was good, the guy would have been able to charge it up and start his tractor with it. But he put a jumper on it to start, to show me that it still turned and turned over, you know? So I doubt this battery is good, but at the very least I could use it for a core. But I'm going to give it an attempt anyway by charging it up. You never know, right? I doubt it though, because these things only last about 3 years. And I don't see the sticker on here, but I'm assuming it's 5 years or so, because that's how long he said it's been sitting. The battery's been charging for, I don't know, 15 minutes. Should be able to get it above 12.5. Let's see if it cranks. Battery's just not strong enough, man. We put it on engine start mode. It's the most amps you can give it for burst. I don't know. It seems like the battery's just not strong enough, or maybe the starter's not strong enough. I'm gonna have to remove that right side panel. Even though it's a pain to remove this side panel, it is, I believe, only 3/3/8. Double-ended. Gotta hold that. Gotta hold the nut on that side. Let's see, so let's look at the, oh, it is tight. But it could be the starter that's weak, you know? Should I just wait for the battery to charge up and see if it cranks again better? But we already did. Or should I try that other one before I remove the starter? While I'm waiting for the battery to charge, I decided I'm gonna take off the this thing over here to see what type of flywheel ring it is, and it is a metal one. I think I might have an extra that I just repaired a little while back, or at least I could try to see if I repaired it, you know what I mean? Can't get this off without taking the other side off, which means I have to take that other side of the pod off. That's right. All this work just to get the hood off, you know? We're a craftsman, half a second. Pivot, take the whole hood off. Here, you gotta go through this madness just to get the side pod off. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Troy Bilt is an MTD product. MTD sucks. Sucks. Actually, it wasn't too bad because it was just there, you know. I know I'm so dramatic, ain't I? Okay, I've removed that part of it off, the side pod. Remove these two 7/16 that are on the two studs that hold the carburetor.
Henry, why are you doing this?
So I can remove the starter.
But you don't even know if the starter's working or not.
Well, it doesn't seem to be strong enough to turn this engine, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna! You know what? We should check for spark while we're at it. Because the battery is strong enough to turn, you know, so we can check for spark. Let's check for spark. But before we do that, take a look at this. Now that we removed that cover, the starter gear is stuck onto the flywheel teeth and it won't retract. That's not right. It has to be able to retract, you know, go down. Or like they say in Canada, down. We're going to spray some penetrating oil from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. tap it down.
Henry, don't break it.
Aha! See that? It's down. Down. It's down. It's penetrating oil, man. I'm telling ya. Really works well. Ooh, look at that. Compression. So far, so good. I've done 3, 4. This is the 4th tractor of the 7 I got from Mondo over at Mondo Mowers. Go check them out on YouTube and Instagram. And so far, I have not had a blown connecting rod yet. Of course, I probably just jinxed it just now. You know what? Let's try cranking it again. I be a sitting on a tractor. Sitting on a tractor. I'm going to try it. Yeah. Seems really difficult to turn. Real difficult starts. So you know what that's contributed to? I think we need to do the valves. We need to adjust the valves. Compression is too high. Starter won't be able to kick in. Could be the battery, could be the starter, but it's really hard to turn even with my hands. So that means that we need to do the valves, which means I have to remove the entire, that's right, front part now. Son of a... To remove the front nose, we gotta hold this top one here with a 1/2 inch, right? I gotta find the other end with this other 1/2 inch. Let's see. Oh, good thing my hand wasn't there, huh? Same thing with the other side. Oh, and by the way, yesterday, you know, we pumped up the tires. This one's holding air, but the other one isn't. And the other 2 in the back are holding air. So that's pretty good. 1 out of 4 is pretty good. The hell? Crazy. Oh, duh. I'm not even touching the right one. It's over here. Oh, of course I can't get to it because, that's right, heat shield's in the way. Let's bend it out of the way. Hey! Here we go. What would I do without an impact? What the hell? All right. Okay. Yay! Yay! Oh my God, unbelievable, huh? Let's check for El Sparko. El Sparky. Still very clean. Guess the gap seems to be okay. Clean inside. All All right, let's check it out. Let's see if we get any sparkaroo. I don't see any spark. No, I see spark. But I don't think it's very good spark. What do you guys think? So while there is some spark, right? Look at the air gap in between. I know you guys can't see it all too great, but it's supposed to be it's supposed to be 10/1000ths air gap in between there, and that's usually about a standard business card. Subscriber plug. Doug's Mowers and Blowers, Altoona, Pennsylvania. So if you put the card in here like that, right? Look how easy it is. So I think the air gap's a little bit too far from the flywheel. Look, you could take 2 business cards and it'll fit. So I think the spark is weak because it's too far away from the flywheel. Maybe. So look how rusty that is. Pretty rusty. I don't know if this helps a whole lot, but it couldn't hoit. Right? It couldn't hoit. Just for the hell of it, I think I'm going to change the magneto. Actually, no, I'm not going to change it, but I will re-gap it again. So here's your standard business card. Put it in between there. Going to loosen both sides by a little bit of a turn. Going to turn it so that the magnet sucks on it. Sucks on it. See? The magnet is now sucked on it. And pushing in. Tightening the bolt. These are 5/16. Be careful not to over tighten because you bust a post, you're screwed. Okay, now the air gap is closed up a little. Air gap is much closer now, much better. Okay, so let's look at the spark now.
Henry, there's a leaf there.
Right. Damn, do you guys have an alter ego too? Is yours crazier than mine? Mine's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm just gonna check. I don't care if you guys can see it or not. Can see spark? And it is a little better, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure 100%, but it's my imagination that it does look better. So look, we got this off, right? You can see here that somebody has been here because this is silicone. Somebody has removed this before and done something to it. I have to do the valves because it's really hard to start. You can't even really turn it all that well. Therefore, you got to help out the starter. You know what I mean? Just with my hands, I guess I could turn it here, right? Oh, you know why? There's no spark plug in there. But it's really hard to turn with the spark plug in there. It's too much compression. So let's go check out the valves. It's 4 3/8 bolts. this here because it's my feeler gauge ready. .3/8, 4 of them. I'm probably gonna have to replace this gasket, but I have a few. Because this has been siliconed, there probably is no gasket, which means I have to scrape off this old gasket. Actually, yep, gasket's busted over here. This gasket's bad. Actually, it's only bad around the parts with the bolts, you know what I mean? But if it's still sealing the valve cover onto it, it's still actually okay, but we're gonna replace it. I don't usually replace it unless I have to, so you guys know I definitely know that I have to. Alright, so look, I'm gonna get a long screwdriver and find the right torque wrench to stick in the middle. Stick in the middle. That's right. Okay, right there. This one's good for that. And let's see, is this 1/2? No. Okay, I've got the correct tools that I need. So right now we're going to get at the top dead center, okay? So that both of these valves are released and loose. So I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here.
Henry, we can't see.
Sorry. It's all about you. Okay, here is the highest it'll go. Right there. You can feel it, okay? And if this is loose, it is. Let's try one more rotation to make sure that that's the top dead center on the compression stroke and not the exhaust stroke. So this is the compression stroke because the piston is all the way to the top, right? But the valves are very tight because they're still slightly open to let the exhaust come out. So we're going to go back to the other stroke. This will be the compression stroke. And it just stops right there. It allows, you can feel it. It goes pressure, 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 pushing, 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 all the way to the top, and then it stops. It's the lobe right there. So here's top dead center, compression stroke. And we're going to measure using a feeler gauge, we're going to measure the air gap. So the top is the exhaust, and that should be at 6. The specs in the Briggs & Stratton's book says 5 to 7, 1/1000ths, right? So I use the middle, which is 6. And it's pretty good. It's actually very good. So it's 4 on the bottom. They say 3 to 5 1/1000ths. The bottom's pretty good too. It could be a little bit tighter. So I'm gonna. By the way, this thing is 10 millimeters, so I'm just gonna turn it a little bit. Yeah, I can see. Now it's a little bit tighter, you know. So I was expecting this to be completely out of whack, but it's not. It's pretty good. So whoever went in here actually did it correctly, or so I think. Yeah, that's good. And that's good. So look. Now I'm kind of confused because it was difficult to start. So now I'm ruling out the fact that it's the valves. It could just be the starter or the battery. It's one of those. Starter or the battery. So I'm going to let the battery charge a little bit longer. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's starting, the juice is just not good, you know? So I'm going to clean this up and put this back again. I'm going to have to use one of my gaskets to get this right. Just clean the valve cover surfaces, and now I'm going to use some brake parts cleaner from my friends over at Lucas Oil Pumps. Spray some on a rag, preferably not a dirty one like mine, just to get the oily residue off the sides here for the contact between the gasket and the head. You're a head. I have my brand new gasket here. This was from a couple of kits that I bought years ago, not years ago, maybe a year ago, because I had to rebuild a 17.5 and a 21, and they're all the same engine size, you know. I mean, you know, the way they're made, so it's the same part. I bought a couple of gasket kits for only $10. It had head gaskets, and it came with all these. The valve cover gaskets on those were not bad, so I didn't replace them. So I have a couple extra. Not extra, that's right, extra. Extra, read all about it. Coronavirus is gonna end the world. You know who's gonna take over the world after we're all dead? Roaches. It's like Starship Troopers. Roaches.
Henry, coronavirus. You're gonna give the tractor coronavirus.
Gonna give you coronavirus.
I don't want coronavirus. I want corona.
My corona.
That's enough, Henry.
You're right. See, you guys need an alter ego, because my inclination is to want to tighten this up already, and that he remembered that I already did. Watch me, I would have busted a bolt had my alter ego not told me to stop right there.
Stop right there.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back from a brand new legend. He grabs a hold of me tightly, full like a hawk and daily and nightly. Good spark. I'm gonna put the spark plug back in. So we just did the valves. Valve cover's back on. I actually adjusted the gap on the spark plug because it looked like it was too close. So I extended it a little bit, just a smidgen, and the spark seems a lot better. Let's see if it'll crank better. Here we go. Spark plug's in there. Hey! That spins a lot better now, doesn't it? A lot better. Huh. How about that? Alrighty. Let's unchoke it and spray something in there. Let's spray something in there. Alright? That's right, I'm featuring 3 products today. Contact cleaner from my friends over at Lucas Oil. I use it for carb spray. Brake parts cleaner. What was the other thing I used? Oh yeah, penetrating Earl. So here we go. We're going to spray some into the... I mean, there's gas. There's a fuel shut off, but no gas is getting in there, so we're going to help it out with a prime. Sprayage like that. Let's see. Whoa! Sweet! Sweet! I guess this only leaves us one thing to do. We're gonna have to take the carburetor apart. No! That's right, another damn carburetor problem. Maybe. .5/16. Remove this 5/16 studs. Oh, it's got a fuel solenoid. a fuel solenoid that has this thing on it. Looks like somebody's been jigging this. Guess what? How much you want to bet it's the fuel solenoid preventing the gas from going in? Yet a lot of people still give me hell.
Henry, the fuel solenoid's supposed to be there. You're supposed to have it. It's good for you.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 fuel solenoids that I've had always causing starting problems. You want to eliminate the starting problems? Get rid of the fuel solenoid. Damn it. So this is a 17.5 horsepower, right? There's the gasket. Don't let me forget that. Let's disconnect this from there. It's a 17.5 horsepower, and it has the carburetor, the Nikki carb, with the straight nozzle coming out. According to the videos that I've been making lately on carburetors, this would surge a lot, in my experience. Let me get this hose clamp out of here. But we will give it a try anyway, since it's on here. Maybe it runs well. If not, guess what I have to order? That's right. I have to order part number 5903999, which I think that's the number, which is the one that has the curved fuel input. Why? It's so difficult.
Don't break it, Henry.
Fuel freely coming out. So it's not the fuel problem. Okay? Let's remove this fuel solenoid and see if it works. I've got a 1/2 wrench. Fortunately, this one fits. Oh, that fuel coming out is like brownish. I'm gonna connect this wire back onto the fuel solenoid, and let's see if this thing moves. You guys see that? Can you guys see that? Yes, I think you can. All right, let's see if I turn the switch, if it retracts. It does. Look at that, see? It does. So that would lead me to believe that's a carburetor problem. This is a Nikki, and it's an original Nikki. See? Briggs & Stratton stamp. Briggs & Stratton stamp, Nikki stamp. Original.
Don't hurt yourself, Henry.
So Nikki's have these 2 screws that hold the float bowl on there. Can you guys see this? Gotta make sure you guys can see this. Oh my god, you guys can't even see that. Sorry. Anyway, Nikki.
Gonna lose this.
Alright, let's see what's inside here. Damn it. So it's got some yucky stuff in there, and also this nut fell out. You're a nut. And that's supposed to be in here, but it's supposed to have a O-ring on there, which is disintegrated. See? This O-ring here? Look at that. Disintegrated. So that's going to be a problem. This part here just comes off. There is no gasket here. There's no gasket there. It's supposed to be, you know, one of those maze-looking gaskets there. Completely gone. And the guy, previous to me, used silicone to try to make one. That's not going to work. 100% it's not going to work. That's why it doesn't work. So, either I try to clean this up, right, and put another gasket on here, or I'm just going to replace this with another carburetor. Since this is the identical carburetor to the ones that I've tried on those previous two machines, the Craftsman as well as the Yard machines, right? This is the same exact carburetor as those, which I always suspect that will surge because, look, it has the straight fuel nozzle sticking out. I'm assuming it's going to surge. But either way, I'm going to go and get one of those carburetors and just put it on. Because this carburetor is done! This was carburetor number 2 or number 1 from the other 2 projects. It's a perfectly, I've cleaned this twice, you guys know that. It's a good carburetor. It's like new. It negates or deletes the fuel solenoid, so I do not have to worry about this, right? For now. What did I do with that gasket? Where's that gasket? I need a gasket. My kingdom for a gasket! Where's that damn gasket, man? It was under the wheel. I can see the imprint of this design there. So I know that this goes like that.
You're so smart, Henry.
I know. My battery's going to run out soon. So I'm going to try to hurry up. Or maybe I should bring you back after I've installed it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter because I've got you going already. Might as well finish. If it cuts off, it cuts off. Whatever. Alright, that's on there. Where's that choke? Choke linkage right here. Goes bottom up. Stick it into this canal with a pivot. Take it off choke. Where be the studs? Where be the studs? Here's a stud. Stick it in. Stick in the stud. Another stud. Stick it in.
What are you grunting about, Henry? What's that grunt?
Grunt is the sound you make when you stick in the stud.
I don't understand, Henry.
That's okay. You're still young.
But I'm the same age as you.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, you're innocent. You don't need to know.
What I want to know, I'm like Curious George. I want to know. I want to know everything.
Everything? Everything. So actually, this choke thing isn't very good. You're gonna have to turn. I'm gonna bend this a little bit more, so that when you push it, the choke closes all the way. That's a much better choke. See? That's all it takes. Just push it in. Yes. Yes! You are correct, sir. Ha ha! That's Ed McMahon for you young kids who've never watched Johnny Carson.
Johnny who?
Never mind. I'm gonna put the fuel back on. I'm gonna turn on the fuel nozzle. Not nozzle, nozzle. It should be going bloop, 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 in there now.
How's that sound go again, Henry?
Bloop, 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 bloop. See if it starts. Real quick. How about that, huh, fellas? It started. This is the lowest throttle. Starving for fuel. I mean, yes, starving for fuel. Too much air. But if I slow the air down, if I close the choke a little bit, so that's what it is, see? That's what it is. It requires less air. It has too much air mixing with the fuel. So it needs more air to equalize with the air, right? You saw it surges just like I knew it would, right? Which means I need the carburetor that has the turned 90-degree angle fuel input nozzle. The one that I've had on my previous two, you know, it's gonna surge. The only thing that helps that is that carburetor. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of those carburetors since I had to rebuild one that I found for the last tractor that I did, right? As you saw, we had it on the lowest throttle and it was about to die because it was starving for fuel. But then when I closed the choke flap a little bit to limit the amount of air mixing with the fuel, it ran great. So that's all it is. I could just try to drill the hole bigger in this jet, right? Could do that. Or I could just order another carb. But that carb would take, in this climate, you know, with the pandemic, probably take over a week for me to get it. Which means I would have to abandon this project and would have ruined my video a day streak. I don't know. Should I order it or should I try to drill that hole out? You'll find out next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next project. Have a great day. See you guys
guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.